What's going on, people? It's Mr. Dore back again for the review. It ended Nottingham Forest 1. Who'd we play again? Who'd we play again, lads?
Reading.
5 for Reading 1. Point, I did say 1-1. Before I do start, I've got four Forest fans in. I've got Des Oldham, Dylan Astle, and Stephen Brown. How you doing, lads?
Good, thanks, mate.
Good, thanks.
Not bad.
Like I said, I said a point. What was your last predictions before the game? I'll start with you, Des. What was your prediction?
I said 2-2. I fancied it a bit. I don't know why, because I'd normally say 1-0 or 1-0 at the moment, but I just fancied it to be an open game.
Yeah,
it was quite open. It could have been that, but I said 2-2. Got the draw right at least.
Yeah. What was yours, Dylan?
A loss.
What was your score?
Mine.
Yeah, what was your score?
1-2-0 loss.
Bloody hell, you're confident, aren't you? What was yours, Stephen?
I actually did think Reading would win 1-0, but I was thinking maybe a draw as well. I didn't think we'd win today.
You negative bunch of, yeah.
But I did say a few weeks ago, Ben, I thought this run of games, I thought Reading would be the one team we'd get someone out of going forward.
We've got a good. We've got a good record against Reading at the City Ground. But let's talk about the game. Like I said, we ended 1-1. My opinion, I think 1-0 up with Murray, and then a Samba mistake, as I think it was. But Reading could have snatched it at the end, I think. But 1-1 was a good point for us. Des, what was your opinion on the game today?
It was a funny one, wasn't it? Because, like I said, I think it was a bit more open than normal, and in spells we looked okay. I think as the game wore on, Reading really sort of took over, didn't they? And probably came at us as we would have expected from the start.
Mm-hmm.
I think they realised they were still in the game and they had opportunities, and of course it was a bit of a mistake for the goal. So, I don't know, probably about a fair result in the end. You know, if they'd have nicked it, they'd probably said they deserved it. I just thought I wanted to see something a bit more open and a bit more lively, you know, and I thought it was just a bit better than what we've been watching just recently.
Dylan, what was your opinion on the game?
Yeah, even game, I think. Nothing lighting up again, but final third. But we did better than last week. Just don't seem to be. It just seemed to be once we get a foothold into the game, that 1-0 lead, they don't seem to want to push for more. 1-0 will do, and that's it, in my opinion.
Stephen, what's your opinion about the game?
Yes, I can't decide if it was a good performance or not. I think it was just in the middle, I think the way they set up, I think, suited us, I think, in some ways. I think they were quite open. I think the turning point in the game was Lolly's injury. I think. Yeah, I think that. I think he was coming into form. The old Lolly. I think when he pulled up, it kind of. I don't know. The game went a bit flat for a bit, didn't it? And then it didn't pick up until later on. I think that was a big turning point in the game. I don't know. It just affected the whole game because the game was really opening up at that point.
Des, do you think Houghton got the right team today?
I'll tell you what, I saw some criticism of the team. I quite liked it when it came out. Of course, we'd want to see Worrell in the team, but he was injured, I believed, you know. And Bong didn't have a great game last week, did he? And I'm still not sure about that spot. But other than that, I wanted to see Amiobi and Lolly. You know, it brought us some success last season. You know, it's not been as good this season, of course. They've both been injured and had the problems. But I thought that was a pretty decent start in lineup today. I always fancy, although he's not proving at the moment, there's a goal in Murray, you know, and he could have scored at some point. But yeah, I think I was glad to see some of the players not play. You know, I don't want to
like who?
I don't want to chase anyone in particular, but Freeman, you know, I've voiced it on here that.
Yeah.
You know, and it was good to see him sort of not start and go with those who we know when they're on form, can actually do it. You know, and so people like that. And I just thought, to answer your question, sort of bluntly, yeah, I was pretty happy when I saw the starting lineup.
Was you happy with the team, Dylan?
Yeah. Lolly back in, Amiobi back in, McKenna back in, but Bong again. I'm just don't have no faith in him. I don't know why he doesn't play Ribeiro. What has Ribeiro done?
We'll talk about Ribeiro later. That's another subject I want to talk about. Yeah, carry on.
But why? Yeah, but I know Murray. He trusts Murray, but why? I know Graben's still coming back from injury and his fitness is down. But why is he not playing Taylor? Playing both.
That's no subject. There's so much to talk about.
But stick Murray. I would like to see personally with Murray and Taylor up front with Karinovic behind him. I think that might be able to get some goals.
Dylan, I disagree. Right, this is the thing. On my channel, I don't think people in the comments. I don't think you will disagree with me. I don't think Karinovic has been good. It's been good for us this season since he's come.
No, he's not. He's not. He's not been what everyone thought he'd be. But it's you thinking about it. He's got the ball. He's passing it to Murray. Murray's always surrounded. It goes nowhere.
I don't think it. Like, do you like? We'll talk about performance in a minute. Like, you speak about Stephen. I'm speaking to Stephen. Was you happy with the team today?
Yeah. Obviously McKenna going back in was a bit of an eye opener because that came with left field really, and Worrell obviously picking up his rib injury in training. The two boys, Dylan, Des just mentioned Bong. Now I think we've seen now in the last two games, Sarr last week, and we've seen a right back today. Is he? Yeah. What's his name again? The right back for Reading.
Oh. The right back, I forgot his name now.
Yeah, he begins with Y. Anyway, he rinsed him a few times, and that worries me. But then, what I would say, that guy should have been booked a few times because he fouled Lolly leading up to his injury. I think he cleaned out Cafu as well. I think, and he cleaned out someone else as well. He done 3 late fouls that game and not one booking.
Andy Udom. Yeah, Udom.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yep.
So they. And obviously on the left side there, Richards is going to Bayern Munich. But then again, Amiobi shoved him off easy for the goal. So, I mean, the Reading fans are criticising him now. So, you know, it's one of them things. But yeah, the team lineup was all right. I think I agree with it with the Philip. I'm not going to pronounce his second name. I think he hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't done enough yet. That's the boy. I don't know. Perhaps he just needs a goal or he needs an assist or something. I don't know. He
needs something. He needs something like to impress me because he hasn't done nothing. What's he done? Yeah. Dylan, come on, Dylan. You talk to him. What has he done? Come on.
Well, he hasn't. No, I can't defend him. No, but look at who he put in place. Friedman. Puts Friedman there. He's not done nothing. We've got no one there at the minute other than.
Right, people. Right, let me see something. Right.
What he does do, Ben, just on Karinovic, he's not done very much in terms of leading to goals and things. He's just a bit. He's lively. He's a bit unpredictable, you know. And again, I totally agree with you. I'm not sure what he has done in the big grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But what he does do, he's a bit more lively. There might be a bit more go through him. He shows for the ball. Whereas some of the players, like I mentioned there, Freeman, he's been hiding a little bit, you know, and that's just sort of countering the argument because I'm with you. I'm starting to think, what is he doing?
Yeah,
we're all in agreement with that. But I think what we have seen so far is just a bit of something about him where he shows for the ball, he wants it, he's moving it around, you know, and that's better than what we've had.
What we haven't got, and like we haven't had it since like Andy Reid and them kind of players, we haven't got that player to take the game with a scruff of the neck.
Yeah.
And just control it and just go with it and just bang one in from like 30 yards and just say, I'm here, like, hello, I'm here, I've just scored that screamer, you know, dictate the game, kind of dictate the game, you know, like, James Garner tried to do it, but that's not his position. Like that number 10, that kind of sparkle I'm on about, that kind of player just to ping one in and just like make everyone turn their head and go, wow, look at that. We haven't got that player at the moment.
Dylan, you speak about Ribeiro, and this is my opinion. People in the comments, if you want to interact with us as well, I personally think, and this is for everyone as well, I personally think Ribeiro will not play for Forest again, because I don't know if everyone's seen it in the papers. His contract ends up at the end of the season, and today he was dropped, and I don't see him getting back in the team. But that's my opinion. But the question is for you lot. I'll start with you, Dylan. Would you give Ribeiro a new contract or time to go?
I'd give him a new contract, tell you the truth, because he's done well. Last season, he played most of the last season.
Listen, he's a best left back.
Yeah, he's been solid. That guy who they bought, I forgot his name now. Who's they bought in the summer and they sent him out to the Greek side.
Nicholas Lonis. Yep.
I thought he was decent, but he yet again, not given the time or the games. Do you know what I mean? A good run in the side to be able to stamp his authority. He got sent off. Did he get sent off against Barnsley or something like that?
Luton Town away.
Yeah. Ribeiro.
No,
Luton.
Yeah, he got sent off. Then we've never seen him again. Shipped him out of.
I felt sorry for him. I when Forest signed him, I thought he was a fantastic backup to Ribeiro. He played a few good games, and I thought he's a player that we need. Because I think what game was it? I think we lost 2-1. I don't know who it was now.
Bristol City was it then?
Pardon?
Bristol City home was it?
Yeah, Bristol City at home.
I
personally thought he had a fantastic debut. He could cross the ball, and he's tall as well, and that's what player we need. And then we get rid of him, and then it's been well documented. It's been well documented about with the Ribeiro situation where they want to get rid of him, and personally I don't think they'll keep him, because they wanted to send him to Olympiacos. He didn't want to Olympiacos. I remember they're trying to get rid of him to someone else. He wants to stay at Forest, and the way Ribeiro's been treated, it's been an absolute disgrace. Like as you mentioned, Dylan, he was fantastic with us last season, and can't get a game. And as well with you, what's it like? Do you think you should get a crack, Des? Do you think you should get a crack?
I think if you're picking Forest best 11 today, you pick Ribeiro ahead of Bong. You know, I've seen a bit more from Bong going forward, especially. You know, today and last week defensively, I thought it was poor. But his delivery has come on leaps and bounds, and some of the balls he puts in, and I can almost see why he plays in the same starting lineup as Murray. You know, somebody who can head the ball. But if you're picking the best 11, and the way today's game panned out, and I said I thought it was going to be open, you pick Ribeiro. I remember when Ribeiro came in, he only really played at home for the first couple of games because he was seen as an attacking fullback. You know. Yeah. Somebody who's better going forward, and Lamucci used to not play him away when he wanted a tight game. But then he made that position his own, you know, and like all the things you've said, they've obviously had an impact, and they're still there. You know, we've forgot about them a little bit because we've been sort of clawing away from safety. But all those issues are still there, and it's like the Figueiredo one, isn't it? You can't blame him if his head's not in the right place. You know, he should be better. He's a professional. He's getting a lot of money, and we'd like to think he's going to give 100% every week. But if they've messed him about so much, you know, his performances haven't been on the same level as last season, but he's still the best left back we've got. In terms of replacing him, it would have to be someone better again. Whereas we've not done that so far. Yeah, we've replaced him with players that the guy you mentioned did okay, but again, we've not got somebody who's going to say, "Oh, you're now second choice," you know, or we're going to sell you, because we haven't got better in that position.
But there's no one really been given in that position, been given time. Like what That guy came in, then got sent off, and then got shipped out on loan. Then Bong's come in, then Ribeiro, then Bong, then Ribeiro. They keep switching it like
even
2 games.
Even Tyler Blackett.
Yeah. So exactly. Yeah. So no one's actually did not like Christie on the opposite side, where he's always played that role. And I don't know if anyone agrees with me, but I think over the season he's got better. Christie.
Christie. Oh yeah.
So in the position of Ribeiro and where Bong is, he has to stick with that one person and say, right, I trust you. You're playing every game unless you're injured. Do you know what I mean? To get the performance, to get the confidence up. If they keep playing them 2 games and then go, oh, you'll drop this game and I'm going to play the other one, they're going to be like, what have I done? So you're never going to get consistent.
100%. Steve, what do you think of the left back situation?
Yeah, I think Ribeiro is our best left back in the squad. But again, it's like with Lolly and a few other players, he hasn't hit the top form he did last season for whatever reasons that is. I don't know. But I think it depends who plays in front of Ribeiro as well, I think. He likes to bomb forward and needs that cover behind him. But like I agree with Bong, someone mentioned about his delivery. I think he's got a better delivery than Ribeiro. Bong has.
You know what?
I think.
Yeah, I think
Bong has got a better cross on him on average. I think.
You're talking about that.
Ribeiro.
You're talking about. Sorry, Steven. Carry on. Sorry.
Oh, go on. Oh no, Bong has got a better delivery than Ribeiro. Yeah, I would say.
Okay.
And I agree with Dylan. Christie has improved as well throughout the season.
Let's say McKenna come in, and another player that can't get a game. Like Houghton said, he went for McKenna because of experience, and maybe is it Memsal? Even he can't get a game. And what's he got to do? Like you, Des, what's he got to do to get a game? Because he's 19. Houghton mentioned said he's still young. I'm not. But do you think he's saving him for next season?
I've no idea. Do you know, I literally don't know because he looked okay again. Do you know, he's doing all right. I don't blame him for putting McKenna back in today. Do you know, I'm surprised McKenna's not featured until now. Do you know, as much as I'm actually a Figueiredo fan, I know he's got a mistake in him again this season, especially. But I can understand why he stuck with the 2 centre backs till now. That's what happens when you're doing okay-ish. And to be honest, we cut out a lot of the mistakes, a lot of them, not quite them all. And we've been pretty sound at the back for the last couple of games. So I can understand. I can understand that the situation with the young lad. I have no idea. Do you know, he didn't look bad. Do you know, Figueiredo seems to be keeping them all out the team. So eventually, it just feels like we're going back to Lamouchi's team. You know?
There's another player that's out of contract as well, and that's Samuel Abiebe. And I thought he played really good today. If I'm honest,
I think he did. Yeah,
and he set up Murray's goal. And again,
and if you look back, Ben, sorry to interrupt you, and if just touch on Abiebe, his shot at the end or towards the end of the game, the keeper, that was hell of a save.
Yeah, it was. And another player out of contract. And I personally think, when he first came to Forest, I thought, oh no, I had to rate this guy because he's not good enough. But in the last 2 years, I think as a free transfer, he's one of our best signings. And he's out of contract. Dylan, would you keep him? Yes or no?
Abiebe?
Yeah. And people in the comments as well. Comments. What do you think? Comments as well.
With Abiebe, probably another year you'd probably keep him for, because yes, he has done well for the last 2 seasons we've had him. But you've got to get someone better to play in that role, because he to me is one of these players that plays well one game and then goes missing in another game. And then all of a sudden he has a good game again. Don't get me wrong, give him the ball, and what his feet does with that ball is amazing for how tall he is and everything. But it just, to me, yes, he's good. I think he's good as a backup.
What about you, Des?
I'd definitely keep him. I think he's one of our better players. I think we're looking for goals. We're looking for something different. I think, like you say, the free transfer, we all sort of cocked our nose up at it. I actually know a Bolton fan who said you've got a good player there. And I understand Dylan's point, but I tell you what I will say about that. If the others are performing as well, so if he does have one good game and then another week Lolly's sort of playing out of his skin and another week Garner's playing out of his skin and Grabban gets 2 goals, it kind of goes a little bit unnoticed, and that's just sort of football. Do you know what I mean? That you probably get one good game in 5 out of all of them, but are you getting it at different times? Do you know what I mean? This season we're not even getting that, and I think so. It's highlighting even more when players are not quite on top form. In terms of keeping him, definitely if he's available. I wouldn't like to see him go to another championship team.
No, I wouldn't.
He's the type of player that comes back to us and scores 2 goals and absolutely kills it. I look at some of the big games, the Leeds game in particular. He's done well in some of the big games, and I don't want to get into a thing about attitude either, because I don't think it's that. But he seems to have really sort of been one of the players that when it's tight, when it's sticky, he can pop up. Today I thought he had a good game, although his shooting wouldn't have been misplaced at Twickenham, to be honest, apart from the good chance at the end.
Yeah.
Having the shots, wasn't he?
Say again?
Yeah.
He was there. You buy a ticket, you've got a chance.
Stephen, I don't know if it's on social media, Samba's been given lots of criticism yet again. I know he should have saved that shot, if I'm honest. People saying Samba should leave, blah, 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 this and that. That's social media for you. That's people's opinion. Stephen,
no, he's one of the best keepers in the league.
Exactly. I don't like this is me. But when it comes to Twitter, you can have an opinion. You can have an opinion when it comes to.
On Twitter, people will tell you the sky isn't blue, right? They would argue anything on Twitter. They're ridiculous.
You know what makes me laugh? I saw a message and I wanted to react, and I don't buy on Twitter anymore because I can't bother with arguing people. And the message was, get rid of Samba because he's useless. He was useless last season. I couldn't believe that what I heard, and then
he was best goalkeeper last season.
And this was I'm not going to mention the guy's name. This is a well-known guy who said it. I thought to myself, I'm not going to fight this guy. I can't be bothered.
The thing with the keepers is that in every level of football, and you're talking Champions League football as well, keepers do mistakes. Look at
Liverpool's goalkeeper.
Exactly, Alisson, right? Look at David De Gea. He's been doing mistakes for seasons. United fans on his back, but he's still a number 1 choice. He's still got him out of hole. Samba, yes, he's done a few mistakes, but they're the keepers in the day, and they're just human. And the slating, I agree. Yeah, I don't know. No, he's one of the best keepers. I would never get rid of him.
It's like sorry, Dylan. It's like Jordan Smith played against Swansea, and he was awful. And then people were slating Smith, and then bringing in that other, the third choice keeper that we've not even seen. I don't get people like, have an opinion, but don't criticize someone like, yes.
Samba was linked with Liverpool last season.
He was.
He was linked with Liverpool, like the champions of England, and he's no mug. So it's just idiots.
Dylan, what you saying, Dylan?
I was going to say, but everyone's criticising him now. Yes, all right, he's a goalkeeper. He's going to make mistakes. He's not going to be perfect every game. But I'm sure everyone was loving him a few games ago when he saved that penalty.
Exactly.
He's the best goalkeeper in the world then.
This is why back in the day I used to fight with people on Twitter about Forest, but now I just leave it now. Can't bother with it no more, and that was it. Another topic, and I've seen this on social media again, about Lau Taylor not getting a chance. Glenn Murray, 37. Yes, he scored today. Comes off. Grabban comes on. Takes the captain armband. I'm lost. I am lost. People, and start with you, Des. Grabban come on. takes the armband of McKenna. What was you thinking? What was you thinking? There's so much debate I want to talk. Like,
you know I could tell you how good Graben is for the next 24 hours, but I could also tell you how much I'm frustrated with him. You know, he's just an enigma, isn't he? You know, he does score goals. He does at times. He has sort of got us out of holes or won us games. You know. But for me, he never does enough. His attitude's not right. You know, if he played off the front foot, he'd be a hell of a player. You know, the chances he misses. You talk about Samba making mistakes. Do you know if Graben scored some of the cities he missed last year, we'd be in the Premier League. You know, we really would. I judge strikers when they score when it's 0-0. You know, and I'm not saying he hasn't. There's a lot of games we've won 1-0. But there's a lot of cities he's missed. I remember the Birmingham game, he missed a penalty as well. You know, his penalty record's out there. I just think his application, such things as penalties, the captain situation, you know, his application is all wrong. You know, and the talk of him leaving, you know, I didn't think he'd play for Forest again. And I'm starting to think, is he just winding down a bit like Ribeiro, you know, towards the end of the season? Do they know in the background that he's not going to be there? There was a conversation between the radio people today before the game, and they said Forest are definitely going to need a striker in the summer. And I thought, well, that's interesting because we've got 2 permanent strikers, you know, who most clubs would want to have.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just don't get it with him. He's never been happy at any football club, and now. Seemed to be here to take the armband at that point in the game.
I was fuming. I was fuming. I was fuming. I couldn't believe it.
It's not a hard thing to do, is it? As a human being, you go onto the football pitch and almost after what's been said, after the whole captain thing earlier in the season with the ducking out the cross, you'd go out there, score a goal, and then perhaps next game take your captain's armband back. You know.
Dylan, I was mentioning Lyle Taylor, like. As a Forest fan, what does he need to do just to start? Like Glenn Murray, 37 years old, but he needs a rest. I personally think like he's the third choice striker now for us, and I can't see him starting against Norwich. I think Graben will come back if I'm honest. But do you think Lyle Taylor? Like the worst thing about it, I don't think we're going to see him play live. I don't think like. That's embarrassing. I think. Do you think Ladsy needs to go and just move somewhere?
No. I think personally, yet again, it's another player that's not being given a run in the team, and when he's being dropped in as a sub coming off the last 20-25 minutes, everyone's on his back. Oh, he's not doing this. But if you watch his game, he runs like nothing. He runs for every ball. Right? He's another player where I'd just drop him in and say, right. You've got the next 5-6 games to prove to us that you can do this. Do you know what I mean? More games, more minutes, breed confidence. We know he can score. Look at the start of the season. He got a few goals then when Graben was out and he was the only choice keeper and striker. But I was talking to a friend of mine who's a Wimbledon fan who had him there, and he said to me, the thing is with Taylor and he works better with another striker. That's where he comes. So to stick him on his own, he gets too isolated. Do you know what I mean? So to stick him with him, yeah. So this is why I don't understand why you've got Murray, 37 years old. Yes, he's getting tired, and that stick him up front with him. Do you know what I mean? Say to Murray, you stay in the 6-yard box. You're getting all the balls that come in. Taylor, you're making the runs. You're running around him and everything like that. Or personally, another thing, stick it if Kravinovic in up to par at the minute, drop him for a game. Stick Taylor in the number 10. See where we go for that. He's got the energy and he runs for everything.
Can I just say, Ben, earlier in the season, you know, when everything was just going to pot, when we was in the bottom 3 and everything was going south, you know, I put a tweet out about Lyle Taylor saying he was the only good thing about the club at that point. It was almost as if he was dragging everyone through. I just spoke about Graben's attitude. Do you know, for whatever reasons he was doing it, he seemed to be the face of the public. He scored a couple of goals against Coventry. Do you know, and he seemed to be the one player galvanising the club at one point. And then all of a sudden, we've just not seen anything. And what Dylan said there about the way he played at Wimbledon, I've said it on here before, he needs to turn around, basically. So rather than get the balls coming into him, if you put him in front of goal, I went to both Charlton games last year. He had 2 chances and he scored them both.
Yeah, you did.
He had a shot on goal. He doesn't get a shot on goal, and that's the problem. He's a finisher. He's a finisher. He's not the player that's going to go deep into midfield and drag the ball. Even though he works hard, he's going to run onto all them loose balls and tuck it away. You know, and that's the problem we've got. We don't play quick enough to his style. Perhaps people like Korinovic and Lolly and Amiobi maybe, and then stick him up top and see if they can get in behind the defence and put someone on a plate for him. Not necessarily on a plate, but just give him some opportunity to shoot a goal.
Do you think sorry Stephen, who's saying?
Yeah, no, it's just Des's point then about Taylor. It showed in the Watford game at the end, a disallowed goal. He still got the finishing touch. He put that, but he took the chance, didn't he? His keeper just stood there like he had no chance. So it just shows, he hasn't lost it. It's just he needs that run in the team.
I've seen the Chris Hughton's press conference after the game as well. Worrell's out for, I think he's out for 2 or 3 weeks. Do you think we're going to miss him, or players like Worrell's out for 3 weeks?
100%, mate. The good thing about Worrell is he's a Forest fan, and you can see the passion. All right, he's made the odd mistake in that, but who doesn't in life? But his passion is. I don't know if you've ever seen it on the telly when they show you when they huddle in the group before the game, and you can see he's proper throwing his fists and everything, and he has a go at people and stuff. That's what you need. Do you know what I mean? I'd stick him as captain. We're grabbing, you give him that armband, and he's like, "Oh, I want the ball." Oh, never mind. Do you know what I mean? And Worrell, all day long, I think that team should be built around Worrell. Simple as.
100%.
He should be the first name on that team sheet, and whoever's picking the team should turn around and say, right, Worrell's the first name. We've got to get a partnership or a partner like Figueiredo works well with him. Him or McKenna, get them to work with Worrell. Do you know what I mean? As soon as you do that, do you know what I mean? But we can't get rid of him unless he goes to a Premiership club.
Question for you lot, as well, people in the comments as well. Like, we've got Norwich next, and Graben coming back today. Who would you put up front in that game? Let me start with you, Stephen. Who would you put up front?
That's a tough one.
I know it's
such a hard. I think again he's going to go with Murray. I think he
needs a rest, though. That's the thing. He needs.
I know, but Ben, I'm just looking at you. I'm looking
at
it.
I know.
In my head.
Yeah,
in my head, I would. Again, we've jumped on the Taylor bandwagon. I would just say to Taylor, like Dylan said, say to Taylor, this is your chance. Go with it. Just start him. Because against Norwich, what are we expecting, realistically?
Anything could happen.
A draw.
Exactly.
A draw.
Yeah, a draw. Happy to get a point. Like, I personally would play Taylor, but I think you go with Murray. Because they got, good defence in Norwich, so I don't know, wherever he picks would be a tough job up front on their own and all that. But me personally, I'd pick Taylor.
Who would you pick, Dylan?
I want Taylor and Murray up front. I think them two together, or Taylor and Grabber. I think he's played. I was working it out earlier. Houghton's had he's had 34 games so far now since taking charge, and we've played one up front. I think the odd occasion we've played two.
No, we played two. We played two up front against Derby, and that didn't work.
Yeah. No, but
Luton, wasn't it? Luton at home.
Yeah, but
was Luton at home as well?
Yeah,
but that was only, But that wasn't for
during the second half. Yeah.
That wasn't from the get-go. It's like today. What frustrated me about today's game was with 1-0 up, you could see the goal coming, and I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? Why don't you just, if you're going to stick Graben on, stick Taylor on and just say to him, look, back four, stay where you are, keep the balls out. You lot get Taylor and Graben up front and just pepper them with balls and let's try and win this game. But they don't. And this is what frustrates me about the strategy situation. Do you know what I mean? Because like last year, we had one up front. And Graben did well to a certain degree. And he scored them goals. He scored, what was it, over 20 goals last season?
20 goals,
But he was the only striker. But the way we played last season, no one expected it. This season, we're playing this kind of the same type of football. So
we are. No, we are.
But it's the final third. They keep. It's like with Houghton, who you see his interviews. Oh yeah, it's the final third. Yeah, we know it's the final third. Well, hold on a minute. You've got a striker on the bench now who can score 20 goals. You've got Lyle Taylor, who's known for poaching, headering, and everything, and you've got a 37-year-old, but you still want to play one of them instead of saying we'll play both of them and then just attack the games. Now we've got 10 games left.
That is true, man. Dad, have I told you that? Who would you play up front on against Norwich? Against a tough side as well.
Again, I incline to agree with Stephen. He's going to play Murray, isn't he? But I don't know. I don't really want to sort of give games away before we've started them. But if he feels that we're going to struggle, throw in Taylor. You know, it might just be the game that sparks his season. You know, throw him in, give him a go. You know, is he going to do any worse than the other two? You know, and we're waiting for something to happen. You know, Norwich might sort of play on the front foot a bit more than most teams at the City Ground. So we might be able to get in behind him. You know, we might be able to get the ball through the lines a bit quicker. And it might be that it could just be that thing where certain players need a rest, especially Murray and those kind of players, and Kurinovic maybe. You know, so almost stick him in as a free hit. You know, if we get anything out of that game on Wednesday, we'll all be pretty happy and say, come on, leaps and bounds. So stick him in for a bit of a free hit. If he scores a goal and we win 1-0, you know, that could just be like the launch pad for him to go on and get 5 and 6. You never know. Do you know, what can we lose from that game on Wednesday?
Exactly.
Absolutely nothing.
Everyone's expecting us to lose.
Yeah.
So
go on, Dylan.
No, I'm just saying, so if everyone's expecting us to lose, let's just play totally different and say, do you know what, lads, just go and play with freedom. I'm sticking to attack.
This is what frustrated me today, right? They brought on Aluko, Mike Day. They had like 4 strikers on at the end, I think.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
They did. Now, taking Dylan's point now, right? What frustrates me, and it comes through the commentary as well, you know, Taylor, Grabham and Murray, even for their ages, would probably get in most championship sides. Why can't we make Reading think, panic a bit? Why was it a case of, Forest on the back foot here, they've put 4 up front, then Forest are worrying? Why can't we go Taylor, Murray, Grabham up front and make Reading worry? We got Knockaert still on the pitch, who can be a match winner on his day. Make them worry. We're so worried about, we're scared of Reading now. We're scared of Reading. Come on. I know they've got a good attacking force, but we should be making them worried of us. That's what's frustrating me at the moment. We got players on that bench who would walk into any other side in that championship. We're not putting like kids on or like League 2 players. We put on players who Grabham scored 20-odd goals last season. Murray is a good player. That's what's frustrating me.
And this is the thing, like this is Warwick and Red Dog. Even Mychan, like people, he's got pace. He can't get a game. And I remember.
I think Ben. What Houghton's going to do, I can see it coming. We're going to be safe, okay, with enough points, And I guarantee after that, he will start playing Mighton, Colback, Taylor.
You know what?
These fringe players.
I was about to mention about Colback. And like, lads, like I said, with Twitter, people was calling for Colback to come. And Matt, if you're watching, Matt, I am not cussing Colback. I am not cussing him because Matt will go for my neck. He'll message me in a minute and go for my neck. I'm not going to lie. I want him to play because I remember Forest fans were saying, bring Colback in, bring Colback, bring Colback. Colback's not playing. There's no Forest fans in sight saying a word where Colback is. And I want him to play because I'm not trying to discredit Gardner, but I think Gardner's been one of the best players since he's come on loan from Manchester United. Cafu, he's been okay, but a team against Norwich, I think we need. You always want your midfield to win, to win that battle, and I think we miss it. I think we're missing Sam Purcell as well. Harry Arter can't even get a game, and we've got so many midfielders. And what's your lot's opinion? Do you think we need players like, I don't know, a Colback, Harry Arter, Sam Purcell, even Ryan Yates? Ryan Yates can't even get the side. Like, it's just mind-boggling. What's everyone's opinion about the midfield today? Like Krajinovic can't even. I've had enough to come at Krajinovic. I've had enough.
He's not had. I don't think he's got an assist yet, has he?
No. Krajinovic.
Yeah. He's not even made a goal.
I think I understand. I understand. Like I said, he's dropping deep to make a midfield balance. But I think, I don't know who it was now. I listened to a podcast saying that Krajinovic is a worse player than Cavallo. I'm not saying bring Cavallo back on no low-ups. I'm not, because we moved on from that now. And I don't know. I just don't think he hasn't done nothing. I prefer to bring, like, I know I'm going to get criticised for me saying this. Freeman. Play Freeman as a number 10. I know people can use overweight, but just give him a chance. I just don't think Krajinovic has been great. Oh, but what's everyone's opinion about it, Dylan?
Like you say, with Krajinovic, he's not been what we thought he'd be. Drop him for a couple of games. Maybe that might refresh him. Maybe spark something in him. So, like you say, give a Freeman. Now I know Freeman's had his operation. He's getting back to fitness and that. And he seems to be playing a tiny bit better than he has been. But, do you know what I mean? Give him a all these players we're talking about now is Mighton, like your Amiobi or your Joe Lollies or people like that who can't get a game. Ryan Yates, Arter, and all this. The problem is they play for one, maybe 2 games, then they get dropped for about 3 games, and there's no consistency there. And you know that as soon as you start playing games, the first game, I feel knackered, but I'm getting there. Second game, by the third, fourth game, you've got a rhythm together. So this is the problem. He's like 1 minute he's swapping and changing, like where Knockout played against Derby. Yeah, he ripped them apart. He ripped Derby apart because he had that consistency of keep playing. Because you could see what Knockout can do, but it was coming because he was still getting the games, and you knew it was going to come. He's getting dropped. So then you're going to put Lolly and Amiobi in, where everyone's kicking off about Lolly before he could come off injured. I thought he was back looking like the old Lolly. But it's like it's consistent. They're not. They can't just say to the team, "This is what we're playing, how we're playing, who we're playing. Now have a run."
Des, what's your opinion on it?
Well, you were talking about the Colback thing there. You know, I'm not as big a fan as Matt, but how is he not playing Colback? They've waited a whole season for Colback to sign for Forest.
Yeah.
You know, he had a successful spell. He had a couple of games, and now he can't get nowhere near the team. Do you know if Colback's in the starting lineup, like we'd all kind of think this is a strong team. You know, this is much more solid. Again, Wednesday night, Colback could be a great option. You know, I can see there's a bit of competition. You mentioned it yourself. There's lots of competition there, isn't there? Garner, I actually thought had his best game today. You know, sort of hidden beyond a few other things. But it's that dynamic sort of ability to sort of move the ball quickly. You know, and that's the problem we've got. You know, and I think all of them they can't find a red shirt, and that's why they're not quite the players that people build them up to be. Yates. I'm a fan of what he does and the type of player he is, but he doesn't move the ball about to a far his play. He doesn't get in for a tackle, get up with the ball at his feet. If you think Colback, you think he goes steaming into that tackle. Yeah, he gets a lot of yellow cards, but he goes steaming in. The next thing you know, he's running forward with the ball and lays it off to somebody better than him. You know, and that's why he played in the Premier League, because he can pass the ball to a red shirt. Most of these players in the Championship are really good at what they do, but it's the final ball that lets them down. You know, at times this season, especially with Lolly, you know, he's been tipped with big moves in the past. Doesn't quite come off. Amiobi is a classic example as well. You know, if he did what he did consistently down the wing, he'd be in Man United's team. But he does it once every 5 games, like we said earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot going on in that midfield, and I think there's a lot going on with personalities and what the club want to do with certain players. You know, Samba, there was talk about him going, wasn't there? So is he ever going to play for us again? You know, but if Colback and Samba was in on Wednesday night and Lyle Taylor up front, I'd be over the moon. You know. I think that's a step forward. And you've got to remember, when we was 3rd in the Championship last season, these players were playing. You know, they weren't there just by fluke. You know, yeah, we shithoused a few results, as we were saying.
yeah.
You know, but you can't do that over a season. And yeah, it all fell to pieces very quickly. I just think there's too much going on with what they're doing with players. And Colback especially, because you think, they let Ben Watson go, safe in the knowledge that he was coming back. Ben Watson was phenomenal last season for the type of player he is.
I miss him. I miss his presence.
They completely disrespected him because they thought we've got a better option. You know, we've got a slightly younger, slightly better player, you know, in Colback. And then he plays half a dozen games. He didn't set the world on fire. But when does a holding midfielder in a poor team set the world on fire? He doesn't, does he? No. You know, a holding midfielder breaks up play, gives it to the strikers score the goals, and then everybody goes back to where it all started. You know, so he got stick saying he's not the same player. He was the same player. He was just playing in a shit team. You know, and then he gets sent off. He got injured, didn't he? He got injured, and then he doesn't play again, and that's just bizarre.
Well, look what Kante did for Leicester in the title-winning season. Kante was the best holding midfielder in Britain. And everyone remembers Vardy scoring the goals for them, but Kante was the one breaking up the play, feeding Mahrez to feed the Vardy to score the goal. So, yeah, you've got a good point there. No one thinks of that position as it's a key position, but it is.
I think that was Des's rant. Des had a little rant there, so people in the comments just...
That's for you, Matt. That's for you.
But yeah,
can I just say about Ben Watson, though, right? Because I don't go and watch the games as much as you guys because I don't live in Nottingham. But I didn't fully appreciate Watson until I seen him live. I went to watch us against. We beat Brentford a couple of seasons ago, and they had Malpai up front, and I think we beat them 2-1 or 2-0 or 2-1. And Watson,
at the City Ground.
Yeah, at the City Ground. Yeah, Grabham scored, and I think we scored a penalty. I think. And Carnos scored at the end. It was a 2-1 win. We beat Brentford. I just remember Malpai was up front for them, right? Because he was a little niggly little chopsy player he was. But anyway, Watson played in that game, and I watched him live. I just appreciate how good of a player he was, because I seen the slating and the fans online slating him and saying he's rubbish. But I watched him live, and I think he was totally underrated for us. He did such a job, and we haven't filled that void since he's gone.
100%. People in the comments, do you disagree with everyone on here? Last but not least, lads, like I said, a massive game against Norwich. They didn't come easy as this. I'll start with you, Dylan. What players would you drop and what players would you bring in?
Players I drop and players I bring in.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to keep. Well, I would drop Bong and put Ribeiro in, and keep the back. Well,
not happening. I swear.
All right. Yeah. All right. We'll see.
People in the comments as well. Who would drop? Who would you bring in? Dylan thinks Ribeiro. I just don't think Ribeiro will play anymore.
Well, we'll see. And then, like you say, bring Cole back in. I'd bring Cole back in for Cafu playing with Gardner. Maybe say to Gardner, you move a bit, you move forward. I'll stay where I am, so I can break up play. You help the other midfielders out. Knockout's going to play. Kravinovic, I think he is going to play. Yet again, it's the strikers again, isn't it? What they're going to do? They're going to go for Murray. I personally, the striking option, they go for Murray. They're looking for a draw. Simple as. Do you know what I mean? There's
Good then.
To me, I don't know. I don't get it. It just frustrates me because, like we've said, we've got 3 good strikers. All right, Murray's old, but we've got two good strikers now. Fit, use them. Keep Murray on the bench, play these 2, and then change one around after 70 minutes. Do something like that. But we could go. There's nothing wrong. People are going to think that we're going to lose this game. So if this is the case, then just say to the players, do you know what? The back 4, keep it tight, but everyone play with freedom. Move it forward and play like it. Just play like you normally, like a training game. Do you know what I mean? Like the fast play we was on about fast play, wanting to play faster out. Was it against Luton? Every time keeper got the ball, he was throwing it straight out, quick play. And it was like knocking Luton off a bit. Why can't we do that? Do you know what I mean? Why? All right, they're top of the league, but anyone could be beat in this league. Anyone.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? So I think. Do you know what I mean? It's just the striking option. That's where the key. That to me is where the key is. How they play the strikers is how this to me is how they set up for a win or a draw.
Stephen, who would you drop? Who would you play against Norwich?
Obviously with Lolly's injury now, I think obviously Knockout will slot back into that position. No one's mentioned Martin. Yeah. But again, like Dylan's saying, why are we concentrating so much on the team? I think we should make, like I said about today, why do we have to worry about the other team? We should be going, right, we're going to attack you, make them think. But I think, you know what? I think we're limping towards a safety. I think we just get in there. I think what's going to frustrate me more than anything is I just hope that when we officially are, mathematically safe, is that he doesn't then just go, right, you know what, let loose now and just start playing expansive football. Because I'd rather, I know we've got to be safe, but I mean, it's going to be frustrating that after we're technically safe, is it a case, and like Dylan's saying, is like go and play with freedom? And I don't know, just make him, I don't know, like Dylan's saying, play 2 up top, 3 up top. Just try something. Make the other team think about it, not us going, oh, we're going to play for a draw here or safety first. I think it's just been too cautious for me. I think we just need to be a bit more, make the other team think. But I don't think he'll change the team much. He might put Blackett in or Ribeiro over Bong. I don't know why they just don't give Tyler Blackett a chance left back.
Last test, well, I said we've got Norwich and we've got Brentford. Surely we can't play Murray against Norwich if we've got Brentford, because I prefer to rest Murray for Norwich than start against Brentford, because Brentford, as everyone knows, Brentford are a fantastic side, but surely he's not going to play Murray on Wednesday as he does. Surely not.
I think he probably will, but
he can't. It's just weird.
We've kind of gave the argument already that we feel it's almost a bit of a free hit. And don't get me wrong, those teams are beatable. They are beatable. You was asking, the last question you asked the guys was about who should start. Ribeiro has to start because of Buendia. He could. because Bong just will not catch him. We've seen last week.
Yeah.
It's a tricky, good player. You've got no chance. But I just think up front, you're asking the question there. Do you know, those teams, Brentford and Norwich, if we let them have all the ball for as well as we've done recently in defence, they've got all the movement in the world. They'll get behind us. They'll get in. You know, Pukki, I watched him play against Wickham a few weeks ago, and he just moves about all the time. He's in a different position. He's not particularly quick. He's strong. But what I think what we need to do in that case is then work off the front end. So we've got to preoccupy them a little bit. You know, because if we let them have the ball in midfield, they'll just pick us off. You know, we saw it second half today. Reading came into the game and really by the end you thought they were going to nick it. And I think so what we've got to do is perhaps get Knockaert, Amiobi on the wings, you know, the fact that Lolly won't play probably. And then Lyle Taylor, for me, has got to play to almost preoccupy their team, like Stephen was saying quite a lot. Why are we thinking about these teams so much? You know, they are beatable. I mentioned that Wickham game. Wickham hold them out for about 70 minutes, I believe. You know, so as much as it is a free hit right now because of their position in the team, I don't think we should be going into these games absolutely petrified of them. You know, give them a bit of something to think about. Yeah. We're not good enough.
Them too much respect.
Yeah, we're not good enough still to see a game out. You know, we proved that today. We proved it against Derby. You know, we was doing okay when we got a nose in front, but the last few games has proved that we can't see it out. There's still a mistake in there. There's still sort of a lack of pace within the team to take us from one end to the pitch quickly and counter-attack in the way that he probably wants to. So we've got to sort of be playing a bit further up the pitch and a bit further preoccupying their defence a lot more. And that's how I think we do it. And that means playing Lyle Taylor because Murray do a great job in holding the ball up. Grabban will play with his shoulders on his arse and won't really care. You know, it's about this game. I think we're all in agreement that we've got to almost get Taylor in there just as that free hit, but that chance you never know.
Isn't it mad though? Like, sorry, Ben, just one final point about the striker. Isn't it mad though? This time last season, we were like, are we going to struggle with one striker in the squad? Now we've got three.
Yeah.
And we'd all like scratch our heads going out. Like last season, Grabban had to carry that on his back. He got us 20 goals. He got us almost into the playoffs. So this season, though, we got three, and then we can't fit anyone in, or we can't think who's the best striker. But last season, I bet Lamucci would have loved them three strikers on his books.
That is a really good point, Stephen. But yeah, last but not least, lads, I saw you, Dylan. Out of 10, today's performance, what do you think it was, and who was your man of the match?
Out of 10, I'd go 6.
6. Okay.
6. What man of the match?
Yeah. People in the comments as well. What do you think about your ratings and your man of the match?
I'm looking at probably Gardner because, like you said before.
He set that goal up as well. Well, he made that goal, didn't he? Not well.
Yeah.
But
like you say, some games you're hearing him all the time, Gardner. Then other times you're not really hearing him, but you can see his movement for a young lad, and he's doing things under the radar, kind of thing. So I'd say Gardner.
Des, ratings and who's your man of the match?
Again, I'd say 6. I've mentioned Gardner myself, you know, Amiobi. A close call between those two today, I think. You know, it's nice to have someone like Amiobi because you know there's always something there, whether he's playing well or not, you know, there's almost something. And I thought those two were the key today. Garner, like Dylan said there, Garner, without being spectacular, he did everything well. You know, he moved it, he passed it to a Forest player. I've seen him pop up a lot more on the edge of their box. You know, it's not always been the case. He tends to do that sort of sporadically. But today, he was looking for a shot at certain times. And that's what we need from our midfield players, because we've spent this whole episode talking about strikers not scoring goals.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, strikers are supposed to get the goals.
Yeah.
They're supposed to win us the games. That's the problem at the minute.
Who have I not asked? I've not asked you. Have I, Des? Who's your
Stephen,
what's your rating? And,
I'm going to give it a 6.5. I think.
6.5.
I quite enjoyed the game. I thought, like Des said in the beginning, I thought it was an all right game. It was a bit of a nail biter at the end. I thought they were going to nick it, but I think the draw overall was like they strengthened depth total at the end. I thought, but like I said, just up to that Lolly point, I think that was a turning point. I think it just killed the momentum. I think because we were, like Dylan said earlier about Lolly, I felt he was just hitting his form like we know we can. Like he was tucking inside and just running past them like the old Lolly we know.
Dropping his shoulder.
Yeah. And for the man of match, Garner as well, he stuck out. And that kid, which he is still a kid in footballing terms, he shows if we're going to push next season, we can get him back on loan because he has shown the quality that you bring from the Premiership down to the Championship, what he can do to a team. Because, we need more players like that in the squad to take us to that next level because you need their match. He's not a match winner, but then kind of like that pass for Amiobi, he can do things like that influences the team. So we need a couple of more James Garner. Joe Garner's going back a few years. James Garner, a few more players like that. But yeah, he stuck out for me. And Amiobi, I think, played well.
I'll agree with everyone. I'll 6 out of 10 today. And my man of match, I think, as well, I've seen Warrington Red Dogs man of match. This was Abiobi. Mine's Abiobi as well, because I think he played well. Garner played well as well. But mine has got to be Abiobi for me. But lads, it's been a pleasure for coming on. Are you lot free on Wednesday for after the Norwich game? We might be happy afterwards.
Yeah.
I hope we are, because I can't be bothered.
I bet you were moaning that Lyle Taylor's not been playing.
Oh, don't. Are you lot free on Wednesday?
Yeah,
I'm working.
Oh, you working? You working, Dylan?
Yeah, I'm working.
Okay.
I'm working.
Are you free, Stephen?
Yeah, I'm free.
Des, are you free, Des?
I'll be free.
Oh, that's all right. Who's that in the background?
That's my little one.
Up the res as well.
Can I just say one more thing?
Go on, Dylan.
Can I just say one more thing, right? And I've mentioned this. I've mentioned this to you, Ben.
Oh, here we go.
Me personally, I don't think Chris Hughton will be manager in the summer.
People, click this. People,
wow. I don't think, for some reason, I've got. Well,
is that a spoiler?
Why. No, it's not a spoiler. But I've got a feeling because the way I don't know. I text Ben this earlier, and I says.
My response was, what was my response to him?
No way.
No way. That's what I said. That's what
but I can remember you having a conversation with me before Hooton come in, and I was going, "Oh, you're probably an English manager," and you went, "No way."
Right. Listen to me, right? And this Des and Steve will back up this, okay? Right. We know how the Greeks deal with people bringing their own people in. And did you expect Chris Hughton to come as manager? Did anyone expect? No one expected. And
I expected a British manager.
But I didn't expect it because the way. If hold on, then.
No, but I'm just saying, over the manager thing, I've got a feeling because I don't know, something's not sitting right with me is because January, you're hearing all the rumbles of, yes, he can have what he wants, he can do what he wants, and we bring players in on loan. And I'm like, do you know what I mean? And it was going back to last season when we dropped after January, and the owner was going, hold on a minute, why didn't you go and buy these players? Why didn't you do this? Because we was linked with Dwight Gale and stuff like that. And the owner says, go out and buy him. But they never did. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm just a bit He's on a 2.5-year contract, but I'm just a bit. But I hope he does.
So Dylan thinks Houghton will be gone at the end of the season. People, do you agree? Your comments, right?
Ben, I do think he will be there, but I've had that before. There just seems to be something said. I thought it during the week. Something was said, and we asked about transfers as well. How much money he's going to get, and he was like, I don't know. And
they said that on the radio.
Yeah, that might be the case. It might just be, I don't know. But something, what Dylan said, I had that thought and then didn't think too much about it. I thought he's not going to be there next season, because we've seen so much, and little things will probably trigger us to think the Greeks are going to pull the trigger, because they'd have wanted him to get in the playoffs at least.
100%. 100%.
You think about it. He would have had 44 games to put his stamp on it. It's okay saying that he's got Lamuti's players, he's got anything. Don't get me wrong, he's a good manager, but I think he's not. I think he's too old now. I think his style of play is not right for this day and age of style of play.
I get what you mean. I understand what you mean, but I think my personal opinion, I think they'll keep him next season. You need to remember, in January, he brought his own players in, like Gardner, Murray.
Yeah, but on loan.
But he wanted them players. Dylan, you need to remember, he brought Lamuccia. He brought in 14 players, and you got to remember the FFP is coming in play.
Yeah. So
I personally don't think he will get. He won't spend X, Y, Z. I don't think he will. I think he'll get 3 or 4 players. I don't think we need to bring in a lot of players like Lamuccia did. But
they need to clear out. And
no, we need to clear out. We 100% need to clear out.
I think that if he doesn't get us in the top 6 by Christmas, I think he'll be gone from next season. I don't think he'll go in the summer. Yeah, I think if we're not in the top 6 by Christmas, I think they'll get rid.
Right. That's the end of it. But yeah, lads, thank you very much for coming on. Having a good debate. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Did people in the comments enjoy that? I enjoyed your little rant there, Des. And everyone's opinion. But yeah, that was a rant. I've never seen you like that before, Des. I've never seen you like that before.
Okay, you know why, Ben? He's eating that pizza, that's why.
Is that pizza? Everyone, Des, share everyone your pizza, Des. Share everyone your pizza.
I've still got half of it. As much as inside.
That is lovely. But yeah, lads, it's been a pleasure. And I'll see you, Des, and Stephen on Wednesday. And Dylan, enjoy your job.
Yeah, I'll wave to you again.
Oh yeah. So we know, didn't you? But lads, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for coming up.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Ben.
See you later, lads.
Cheers, dude. Cheers. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for the boys for coming on. Like I said, I asked 1-1 as well before we the game started. But yeah, what's happening next week? Right, before I do go, there's things happening. Monday, I'll be speaking to Olympiacos fan on his opinion on the owner and things that's his opinion about the link between Forest and Olympiacos. So you can't miss that one. That's going to be really interesting. Tuesday night, it's the preview with Norwich v Forest. That's with a Norwich fan. Wednesday, it's the watch along with Craig and Martin. Like I said, I'm working, but I'll be back late, so I might come in for the last 10 or 15 minutes. Then afterwards, we've got the review as well afterwards. And as well, people are, as everyone knows, I announced it on my social media. If people want to follow me, my link is below. My Instagram, my Twitter, and my Facebook as well. So people can follow that. I'm interviewing people will know in the 90s who I'm interviewing. In my eyes, he's a legend. Chris Bart Williams. My pleasure to interview him. He's one of my idols that I looked up to as well. As everyone knows, Ian Wayne is my idol, but Chris Bart Williams is one of them that I looked up to as well. So that interview, I'm interviewing him this week. I'm not going to tell you what day it was, but I am interviewing him this week. But yeah, that's going to be mad. So that'll be out next Sunday. I hope, fingers crossed, it happens. As well, Friday night, I got the preview with Brentford, and then my watch along with Brentford on Saturday. So I'm a busy person on this channel. So if you do want to watch all the things, if you're on Facebook, go to my link on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, please. And as well, honestly, thank you very much to Craig and Martin as well for doing my watch along. Did people enjoy it? Because I didn't see their ugly mugs on there. But now it was a pleasure for them to have it while I was at work. But yeah, like I said, people, if you are new to the channel and if you are really doing watching this, please do hit the subscribe button if you can. Like if you are new. And it's been a pleasure for the lads for coming on to talk about the review from today's game. As well as any mothers watching as well, I hope you have a nice Mother's Day. I hope everyone treats their mother good. But yeah, see you Monday and hopefully a better performance against Norwich on Wednesday. Up the Forest.